In the next few videos, you are going to see how to create what I've titled the resume project. And essentially the resume project is, well, right here. What we have is you're going to put together a page worth of content based on a historical internet figure. I chose a guy named Vannevar Bush. He came up, one of his big concepts that was really forward thinking at the time was this thing called the Memex, which in retrospect everybody saw as the first really conceptual, or at least published conceptual version of the what is now the internet. So I'm sure someone else thought about it before he did, but guess what? They didn't write it down or articulate it well enough, so there you go. Vannevar Bush gets credit for it. So let's go down the line and look at exactly what this project consists of. I'll try to describe everything. Just at the very top we have a navigation menu, and this is an unordered list, and you can see it needs to have a black bar that goes fully across the top of the page like this. And when you hover over, it needs to have some kind of effect that says it's being hovered over, including this little gray border below it. Here we have his name in H1, a header. We have a block quote. They're slightly, they're styled a little bit different than everything else, clearly. Over here we have a portrait of him, which is an HTML inserted image, and a biography. These two are actually being fit this way by floating the element. This element is being floated to the left, and the biography and text has some padding to the left, pushing it away from there so it doesn't overlap. As we go down, you'll notice that these are ordered and unordered lists, and what I've done is I've styled their bullets a bit differently than the default, which is just a bullet point or a number. And that's essentially it. We have a couple things going on here too in the background. Well, to say first off, this thing also needs to be, this thing meaning the centerpiece that has all the content, needs to be aligned in the center as it is here. And another thing you'll notice is that when I go to print it, all the content, well, not all the content is visible, but we've set it up to look a bit differently than the online version because we want it to end up being a one-page resume, which I have here. And I've done that by adding two different style sheets to it, and the computer knows which one to use based on the media type, whether it's the screen, which is what you see with all the bells and whistles and imagery, or the printer, which is the shortened version of all the content on there, just to fit on one page, sans any imagery. We have a fave icon, which is this guy over here. You see my little red hat, and that will go through as well, another requirement. Of course, the usual stuff. You need a good title, like I have a historical resume on Vannevar Bush by Dragos Bogdan. Got to make sure you have a meta description. We'll be declaring a doc type on this one and a language. Need to make sure that the code validates. We have tools like the online W3C validator to make sure we got green lights. Of course, if you're using a host like mine that adds code to it, you're going to get some errors and warnings. Just make sure that the errors and warnings are not coming from your code, because all those errors that I'm getting are coming from this code down right over here, and it's basically adding some analytical script over there to keep track of my traffic for me. Well, not for me, for them, but my site. So I mean, this is basically it. We're going to learn a couple new tags, and the end result is going to be something like this.